Welcome back guys, this is Shrikant. Today we are going to talk about the difference between the two functions which are dealing with a null. So today's topic is difference between Isnull function versus coalesce. These are the two important functions when we deal with the null. So we are going to try to understand the syntax one. Isnull function only requires two values. The first one is the value or column name, and then if this is null then need basically replacement value. This is a syntax. And with coalesce function, it basically give you the first non-null value which requires any number of columns or the value. So whatever the first value which is null, which is not null, it will give you output. So this is the first value, second value, third value, fourth value, second, fourth dot 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 dot. Okay. So the difference between the isnull and the coalesce, by looking at the definition, we can say that isnull only required two value. The first value basically is a value of the column, and second is a replacement. If that is null, then just find out the value and just replace it and just show the output. In coalesce, whatever the first not null value, it will return first not null value. Okay, perfectly fine. Let's say, and one more question you guys might have, when I have is null, and then why should I go for the coalesce? Okay, the is null function having limitation that you can only verify only single value or a single column, but with coalesce you can have logic that you can verify the multiple columns to the multiple value. To demonstrate it, let's say I'm using is null and giving null value, and if okay, to demonstrate, let's create one variable, declare I, then it's int, and then select is null, and at the rate I. If it is null, if the first value is null, then give me output as a 444. Let's close it and let's run it. Okay, again I'm going to define one more variable, let's say b, and want to show you b. My requirement is, if the first value at the rate I is null, then I should see the second value at the rate b. Then just run the one. What will the result? Result would be the null, because the first value I is a null, second value b is again null. But is there any way that if both these two values are null, then I should get a third value? Then you need to do what? You need to again do is null, and you need to replace some value, like I say 100. So what my intention is, if a is null, then I should get b. My expectation is that b will not be a null, but b is null. Then in that case, what happens? In that case, isnull will return me null, and again I will pass that null to isnull function, and again it will recalculate and it will give me output. So what would be my output? My output would be 100. Why? Because first it is running the internal isnull function, there it is fine. At the rate I, which is again null, then it will move to the second one and it will give output as a at the rate b, and the at the rate b is again null, then that variable again passed to the isnull function, and again which is a null, and then it is returning this next value, that is 100. But see, this is really complicated. Now I have only two value. Let's say I have 10 values, so every time I will do the same logic. So if I do have, let's say for example, if I have another variable at the rate c, and then in that case what will I do? In that case I need to say, if both these two are null, then need to check for the c, and if again it is again null, then give me the 100. right? So these are very complicated. It's becoming complicated, right? Just for three value. So Microsoft SQL Server or the SQL has their inbuilt function to avoid such situation, to avoid the repetitive coding. We have a function called as a coalesce. So in coalesce function, we need to pass a multiple value and it will return you the first not null value. So simply I will type I will do @b, I will say @c. If these three are null, then simply give me 100. Okay, first we'll run so far and let's run the query with all the respective declaration. I would see the output as a null for the second one, right? And my requirement is when the c is again null, then it will return the first not null value. Not null means which is not null. Then if I am running the query, I can see output as 100. Both these two clauses giving me the same output. The way I have returned is different. So by looking at a Isnull is also giving me the same thing and the coalesce is also giving me the same thing. But the way the coalesce function has been written, which is more easier as compared to the Isnull. Hope you guys enjoyed our video related with the difference between the Isnull and the coalesce function. And if you still have any confusion or any doubt, please comment us over the comment section, and it will help us to add more video because it will give us a lot of idea for the video. And thanks for watching. Have a great day.